everyone, and welcome to this week's Arrow After Show. We are so happy you can join us tonight. I am Kaori Takee, and I've got some great people with me. Michael over there.
Hi, my name is Michael Merlyn, and I'm here to do the Arrow After. I'm just playing. I'm excited to talk Arrow today. I hope you guys are too.
What just happened? All right, and I've got Ann, who perhaps has a better intro.
Hey everybody, it's Ann Campea, ready to hood up and talk about Arrow.
So confused. And of course, got David on the side.
Well, I have no idea how to follow any of that up, so I'm just David Griffin here as usual. It's nice to see everybody. Well, nice for you to be here. I can't see you, but it's nice for you to be here.
We can kind of see you. Yes. So we want to give a special shout out to Arrow Fans UK as well as geeklyrocks.com. Check those guys out. They are our friends for Arrow and the Arrow After Show. Ooh. That being said, we are going to give out some of our positives as well as some of our negatives, followed by your questions and comments, and you can continue to send them along right now at hashtag Arrow After Show, and we will probably, maybe, perhaps, Ann will read them out, and we will answer your questions or hear your comments. Yeah. All right, so that being said, first off, guys, overall thoughts of this episode?
It's getting good. It's getting really good. I know this season, I've said this before, it's been up and down. It's a lot of emotional roller coaster, if you will. Nonetheless, I think it's getting strong. We only have about like one more episode left. The season finale, I know it sucks, but it's getting really good right now. Yeah,
like right when it picks up that pace that we've all been kind of wishing for, it's almost drawing to a close. Yeah. One episode left. Yeah. That being said, I thought this episode was great. It's really hard for us as a whole to actually even pick a negative right now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I have one though.
Yes.
One major one. I think we can all agree on this.
Yes.
This is strong. I thought this was a pretty solid episode. I like the team being formed at the end. I like seeing Katana, you know, in her garb, especially like after that Suicide Squad photo was released, you know, by David Ayer a little while ago. So that was cool to see her.
Did seem like she was a little overdressed.
She was a little bit overdressed,
but it looked cool.
A little overdressed. I mean, like when you have like, you know, Felicity in her regular attire and you have her like all just geared up, but she looked great.
I can appreciate it. I can absolutely appreciate her outfit, especially with the red dot. Go Japan, you know. So it's kind of cool. Ann, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm in line with you guys. I think I really enjoyed this episode. I think a lot of the issues I had at the beginning of the season are fixing themselves, like in terms of pacing and disjointedness. I didn't see that at all in this episode. So I'm happy with it.
All right. Well, okay, let's talk about some of our positives, and then we'll go on to our negatives. But first, let's talk positives, and I want to start with you, David.
Oh, pressure. No, like I said, I like the end. The big, well, towards the end, the big fight scene out there in Nenaparbet, outside of the walls of the city. I thought that was a cool fight sequence. I love seeing Katana in her full garb. I just love the outfit. She looked great. I love the whole history behind the sword and how it's passed down from generation to generation, but it's passed on to all the males. I like how Malcolm says, well, you're not a male. And she's like, no, I'm not, but you know, it's hers. It's her sword. Even Rachel Ghul admires the artistry and design of the sword. I thought that was awesome too. Yeah, that's my first positive for sure.
I'm going to agree with you there. I really like seeing Katana in action, and I like seeing her fight off against her husband and how their love story kind of ended into another world. And that was just
tragic.
It was tragic. It felt movie-like, but it felt right. And it was kind of like, finally, this history kind of ties in a way, you know, and it made nice sense. I really.
It was sad, especially because like it seemed like Masaya was kind of starting to come around a little bit. You know, maybe he was trying to like he was remembering his old self, and I thought, okay, maybe he'll come around, maybe he'll help them. Not gonna happen.
Yeah. Anything else?
I mean, again, I love Raish. Every time he's on camera, he's just always telling stories. I like how he told a story about the woman that he fell for. That, I mean, he tried to make it romantic, but he still made the girl his concubine. She ended up being Nissa's mother, and I thought that was a nice story. Every time he's on screen, I just love him, and it seems like we're gonna get rid of him quickly. I don't know if he's gonna die, but it seems like they're gonna move on from that storyline pretty quickly here. And I was kind of hoping he'd stick around more, not just till next season, but just I wanted Oliver to be under his control more. So just because I love seeing their interactions together.
Well, I have a question. Do you guys think that he's gonna die?
Raish?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I hope not.
No, I don't
he's
think
such
so.
a great character, great actor. I gotta say.
It would seem unrealistic to me. He's like he's the baddest guy on the planet. To kill him would just be unrealistic. I think.
I agree. I have a feeling, if anything, they'll just kind of let him come to terms or some kind of peace with Oliver, and that's it.
I'll leave you alone for now.
I don't know, because even then, it's like Malcolm is still trying to, you know, battle Ra's al Ghul even to this day, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that we'll ever see that that relationship severed completely.
Right.
And you know what's great about Malcolm, and I guess he's going to be in my positives, is that no matter in what capacity he is, he's just always such a great character to have in
Yes,
the
he
show. And he was so twisted in this particular one. Like, he's gotten us being convinced that he's on their side, and he twists that up, and then he twists it back again. You're like, what the fuck is going on? Excuse my French.
Well, I love he said, I'm better at deception than any of you. He said, hey, let's face it, none of you are very good actors, which I thought was so
Yeah.
hilarious, because
Yeah.
I always think he's one of the better actors on the show anyway. He's so good the way he does it. He's great at deception.
Yeah, yeah. And my other positive, I guess I would say I really, cliche, obviously, I really appreciate having Roy Harper in this episode, Jason or whoever, and we got like the last moments of him as Arsenal, as long as he's holding his jacket. Obviously, he's probably passing it on to Thea now, and she's gonna probably take on another more heroic role.
I thought that was cool because I
Yeah.
know, like, since season 1, when we discovered her nickname was Speedy, I remember wondering, like, well, is she going to be Speedy? And this was before Roy was really introduced, and it
Yeah.
seems like they're actually going to come full circle on it. It seems like she will, which I'm actually excited for because I love Thea. I'm still a little like, wow, I would have liked to have seen her a little something not quite right after the whole Lazarus pit
Yeah,
ordeal. Nonetheless, she's a great character. I want to see more of her. So, yeah.
Well, there's still potential. I mean,
Oh, yeah, there is.
that she could snap later.
I hope.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, so what are some of your
Well, I
positives?
would say you liked Roy. I liked seeing Ray in this episode.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of Ray's. I think he
He's
just
fun.
brings a lightheartedness to the show that some of the other
Very
it's
Flash-like.
Yeah, exactly. He brings that tone to the show, and so I like seeing him. I like seeing his involvement in that big fight scene, but in particular, and it was just a really subtle scene that I'm sure some people caught and some people didn't, was having Felicity sign those papers and that interaction, because what's going to happen now that Felicity is going to take ownership of Palmer Industries?
It's true.
What does that mean?
I do want to hop on that as well. It's like he does add a lot of lightheartedness to the show, but who else does? Laurel. She's completely taken on the lines that Felicity once had with like a little bit of humor, and I mean, they switched places in my mind.
Yeah,
they
it's
did.
it's interesting
Yeah.
with the whole Laurel thing, because it's like, I guess you just have to sometimes give characters time to develop. And I totally understand why people had issues with Laurel, because I had some issues as well. But it seems like she's finally coming around, taking on 3 guys at once. So she's getting some training, and clearly. But no, she's good. She's getting better.
Yeah. Any other positive?
I would say something else that the show does really well is cliffhangers. Obviously, part of my negatives has to do with this also, because I did see the preview for next week. But I will say they do leave you wanting more, and I think that last even 15 minutes of the show was like, oh my gosh, there's just so much stuff.
Absolutely.
And then, I said it when it was over. I was like, is it done? This is it? It was just picking up right now. And so, you have the whole gang in that jail cell or whatever. You think they're gonna die, and then Oliver and Nissa getting married, all of that was interrupted, and we have to wait until next week's finale, which I'm like,
Like, you have to assume they're not dead.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it just left you like at the edge of your seat. It's really good stuff.
I'm curious to see what kind of cliffhanger they're going to have for the season finale.
Oh, I dread that
This
because
one
I know
was
it's going to
like
be
that.
big. I know
Right?
it's going to
I know,
piss me off. At the end. I can't wait till next season. Yeah.
All right, well, so your positives.
All right. Well, one of my biggest positives was the flashback in this episode. I've been saying this all season long. Watching the flashbacks have been kind of a drag. Not great. Not really going anywhere. I felt like they would take me out of the episode. This episode, I feel like it's finally tying into the episode. We're starting seeing just how it all fits together with Maseo and his wife and, Akito and all that. So it's good. It was much better. Did you like that? I tried my best. I tried.
She giggled.
I
Maybe I wasn't right.
You kind of like that girl on Big Hero 6. So I'd say, Hiro.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it really pronounced.
Photo.
But I tried. That's what matters.
It is.
Nonetheless, I get an A for effort. Nonetheless, it was a lot more entertaining. I enjoyed it. It was
Yeah, it like finally reached a point where it tied in and made sense, and it didn't take away at all, or a little bit from the actual present day. So that was like, oh, finally, we see what's going on.
Absolutely.
So
And
go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say they kept pounding in our heads, Akio's dead, Akio's dead. So like, okay, we get it. Finally, we get it. Yes, he's dead. Because sometimes there was still that mystery, like maybe he's still alive.
Yeah.
But now we know for sure. So that was cool.
And poor Tatsu for having, the flashback scene where Akio dies, and then the present day scene where she has to say goodbye to Maseo. It's like this poor woman.
She's been through
both
some
the men in
stuff.
her life, or a little boy and man, but had to say goodbye twice
Yeah.
in one episode. But I was going to say, does that mean, what do you guys think? Does that mean there really isn't a vaccine for the alpha, whatever
I'm
it's
guessing
called?
not.
Yeah.
Even present day?
Well,
It's hard to trust that guy, though. I mean, he could have been lying to them. It's just hard to tell. Yeah.
Exactly, because we really don't know. Because again, back to like the whole team in the room there. So we have to assume they're not dead. There's got to be something. I'm sure. I'm still holding out for the whole Lazarus Pit thing. Like I want to see, this little mini Damien. He won't be Damien, but I still am holding out for it. So fingers crossed.
I'm
Fingers
just curious
crossed.
what Katana's role is going to be now. Is she going to join the team? And we saw her
would
Game
love
of
it,
Thrones
yeah.
fans.
Yeah.
She's on Game of Thrones recently, so. Is she going to be on Game of Thrones more? Like, I
Yeah.
wonder if she's actually going to be on the show. I like her character. I love her outfit. She's like the gear and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
I would imagine she wouldn't be a full-fledged member of the team. She'll be one of those characters that just appears randomly and
Right.
just,
You guys need some help?
Yeah,
I'm here.
exactly.
Help
One of
me.
those
I'm here,
two.
yeah.
Lurking in the
Huntress,
shadows or whatever, and some
Cupid.
smoky, steamy alley or whatever. So yeah. My other positive, I really liked Oliver in this episode. I liked how he just stuck to his guns. He had his game plan. He was just such an ass in this episode. Like there were moments of like, what are you doing, man? You know what I mean? But I like that. Even when the team was just like, we trusted you, you said to trust you, and this and that, he just stood his ground, and I like that.
Yeah. Okay. I don't like Oliver being an asshole. It makes me sad. But you know what?
We know it's
Fair
for
enough.
it's for a good cause.
Exactly. I'm
Yeah.
like,
What
if
he's
it's a
doing.
part of the plan,
It's true.
we can
Yeah.
forgive it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did also, I wanted to add this positive, I did like the interaction between Oliver and Malcolm and how Oliver trusted him and they kind of had that moment of joining forces.
Yeah.
It's nice whenever I get to see Oliver and Malcolm kind of get along because they're both such strong individuals.
And I really love seeing that when you have these like complex characters like a Malcolm Merlyn, who's a villain, but then you have those moments when he's kind of good. Like he has those moments like he has the potential to be a good guy and he can kind of help you out a little bit when you least expect it. So even though he clearly in the end didn't do that,
Yeah.
but nonetheless, those moments are great.
But
Yeah.
did he? I mean,
Yeah,
did he
that's a
betray,
good
or is it
question,
still
yeah.
part of the plan?
We don't know yet.
He's a good actor,
don't know.
clearly.
So, yeah, he's the one that's a good actor.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about some of our negatives. Sadly, there are a couple, even though it was really hard for us to find some. But let's go backwards. Michael, why don't you start?
I only have one negative.
All right.
And I think we could all agree on this.
I'll agree.
It's Felicity.
Yep.
This is one of my, I love Felicity.
I was looking at David like, do you agree?
I love Felicity. She's one of my favorite characters. She's a strong female character up until the last, how many episodes now? 5, 6 or so,
Yeah.
to where she's just kind of become, and I understand what she's going through. This is tough, you know what I mean? I understand she wouldn't just be like, whatever, I don't care. But she's coming across as being a whiner. She's getting broken down, but she's more whiny than anything, and I don't really like that.
I think for me, that kind of developed in that episode where all the mid-season finale where Oliver had to leave to kind of go save people, and when when he declared his love to her, that's when she started melting.
Yeah.
She's just not that. I mean, I always say this in every single after show that she's not that strong leading role. She doesn't have that humor and that wit that she used to have, and I want to see her again. Not crumble, but be strong. And I understand she's
Yeah.
going through some shit, but.
But that's the thing, like even with all this stuff that I totally get, I understand why it'd be hard for her, I would hope that she would take something from it and it would make her a stronger character in this situation.
Right.
And she'd
Right.
kind of rise above that, and we have yet to see that. Hopefully we'll see it in the season finale.
And actually, I wanted to point out that you've got Akil's mom,
yeah.
who obviously has gone through a lot of crap, losing her son, just basically killed the love of her life, and you don't see her being all whiny. Granted, we
Yeah.
don't get enough of her, so we don't know. Maybe she's like in the alleys in there whining.
Those are great scene though when Felicity threw her tablet at the guy, and I was like, no. And then you see like Malcolm right by. I was like, okay, that's fine. Yeah, that was a funny scene. That
I
was
mean,
good.
there was one strong moment with Felicity, though, when she told Malcolm, if you're wrong, I will make sure everybody knows what you've done.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I was like, okay, that's a line that Felicity would say.
Yes.
But the rest of the episode, I had to agree with you. It's just so apparent to everybody, I think all of us watching it, that she's kind of lost that strength. And you're right, Corey, we're seeing it in the other female characters. You're seeing it in Laurel now, you're seeing it in Thea, that strength that existed in
Who would have
Felicity.
thght we'd have seen it in Laurel? Of all
Right.
characters, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. She's like the
totally
voice
see
of
her.
reason sometimes now.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Absolutely.
Laurel, making sense. I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. I
Yeah.
do that. Yeah.
Well, you have a. She's your boo.
Yeah, I do have a little crush on her.
Katie
So,
Cassidy.
And any negatives?
I would say my negative number one, and I tried not to do this before, is to see the preview for the next episode. So this is my bad. But again, like I said, cliffhangers is my positive. I'd have to say My negative is that I saw the preview for the next episode, so I kind of have a heads up that the cliffhanger, what's going to come out of it.
Before I started doing this.
Oh,
So,
what is
yeah.
it? Or no?
So we won't say anything.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, for those of you who want to
But
know.
everyone that's seen it, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That the cliffhanger, you kind of know where it's progressing to.
Well, to piggyback on that, and it's something that we talked about last week, when they just have this really bad habit of like showing photos. Like I already saw Katana's outfit like a week or two ago.
Well, you and I saw the team up for Flash, and
Yes.
we saw that in Firestorm like weeks ago, over a month ago. I seen that
It's like
photo.
I'd like to, and it's like I don't want to have to like run away from the internet to not be spoiled. You know what I mean? Because that's what I feel. Because I'll just be like on Twitter randomly looking at stuff, and bam, there's a spoiler.
You're like, oh no!
Exactly.
Right.
So it's like I'd like to be surprised every now and then.
so hard now.
That's totally.
I would say another negative for me would be just my expectations for Ra's al Ghul, and I say this I think every week, that he is supposed to be this badass villain who, is probably smarter than everybody. Yet I really hope in the finale we don't see him get duped by Oliver.
You're right.
And everybody.
I kind of feel that way too.
I don't know. I feel like it's coming, and maybe that's why I have it in my negatives.
Right. I think he might be right. For being as old as he is, he's been around the block a few
what I'm
times. He
saying.
should be smarter than that.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I think I only have one negative, and this is me being nitpicky, and maybe it's just a plot hole that you guys can figure out that I missed, but I don't quite understand. I thought Masao and Katana were kind of in understanding, like they both together saved Oliver's life, so for them to suddenly see each other and fight each other was kind of weird for me. Does that make sense to you guys?
That makes sense. It makes sense. It
I
seemed
think
a little.
I think they agree. He helped her, but he never left the league though.
Yeah.
So he was still
Yeah.
loyal to the league, even though he was kind of helping. He's kind of playing an in
It was
between.
weird.
But I don't think he ever would actually leave, because I remember he said the prison isn't the league; it's in his mind. I think so. He was broken no matter what.
I would
think.
like to see
Yeah.
exactly how he joined.
Yeah.
Right.
Like what made him? Because I mean, for him to go, he's a completely different character once he joined the league. So I mean, what brought him to that point? I hope we see that next episode.
Maybe they try to send Akio into the Lazarus.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping for that.
Yeah.
You know, maybe
We
he's
still,
in
don't,
his
we still
debt.
don't know about Sarah yet. I mean, Sarah, we know she's in the spinoff show with the Atom and everything, but we still don't know what that's going to look like. I mean, is she going to show up out of nowhere next
Yeah.
week?
Surprise.
Maybe that's
Yeah.
actually very possible.
Well, you'd have to assume before the spinoff comes, we'd have to
Yeah.
get some sort of
Sure.
Direction.
something, yeah.
For sure, yeah.
But I would say Masao, isn't he like he represents what Oliver could have become if he decided to go full
Yeah.
blown into the
That's
league.
a very good point.
He was the representation of like Oliver could go this way or this way, and he was that extreme. He's in the league. He's become Al Sah-him.
Yeah.
Whereas I think he's gonna go the other way,
Yeah.
kind of thing. But
See-
you could kind of see what would happen.
That would have been interesting if they crunched the whole hit backstory, because they kind of like dragged it into like half of the season, and
Yeah.
then Masao's backstory or something. But anyways, what's some of your negatives?
Real quick, I just had one little gripe, and it's not. I really like this episode. It's just the ending. Not every show needs to be Game of Thrones. Not every show needs to be The Walking Dead. Not every show has to kill off all of its characters or have that threat of everybody's gonna die at some point. But when you're like, I mean, does anybody really think that anybody's dead
They're
in
not.
that scene?
They're
I mean,
not.
I just don't.
No.
It
It's
just
like
doesn't.
90% of the cast.
Yeah, it's like you're not gonna kill off the whole cast. Just
Well,
wipe
what if
them out.
season 4 is in heaven?
Hey, there's the show for it.
There you go. There you go.
I just don't. There's just no suspense for me there. It's not a bad scene. I actually like the acting, the panic. It was cool. It was well done. It's just I just don't feel anything. I'm like, oh no, I wonder if they're
Yeah.
actually really gonna die.
Yeah.
You know they won't.
Yeah, it's like they're not gonna die.
Well, and unlike
maybe
Game of
somebody
Thrones,
might die, but
they're
not all
not
of
going to
them.
die.
Yeah, exactly.
Game of Thrones, they probably would have died.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's very
Right.
true.
So that's just my only gripe. I actually thought this was a strong episode.
I agree. It was a very strong episode leading into the final episode next week, which I'm so sad about. But that being said, guys, let's move on to some of your comments and questions that Ann will be taking. So tweet us, #ArrowAfterShow here on the stream.tv. Ann?
All right. We have our first question from Movie Lover 95, who asks, do you think Oliver switched the Alpha and Omega and the thing he threw was sleeping gas?
I think that's exactly
that's-
right.
Yes, accurate.
yeah.
Our friend over there on Twitter.
So they just got very sleepy.
They look
Yeah,
like
exactly.
they're having a
So-
good nap right
yeah.
now.
Yeah, Renee, can I have some of that too?
All right. Our next question is from Elicity Empire, who asks, now that Felicity is the owner of Palmer Technologies, will she give QC back?
That's
an interesting one.
Yeah.
Actually, that or a merger.
Could
Like
be.
I could see like Queen, Palmer technology, like just like half and half, because you gotta represent.
Do you think Oliver would go back to that life though? Do you think he would go back and
Yeah,
want
I can't
to
see him
do
like
that?
getting in a suit and going to the office every day.
I could see him go back into it, especially since Roy took the heat. So
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, that's
Straight
true.
point.
Yeah, he's free.
yeah.
That's a good point.
No, I agree, and I wouldn't. It wouldn't be one of those far leaps where I'm like, oh well, he just all of a sudden got the company back. You know,
Right.
this makes sense. You're
Yeah.
right. All right, next question, and good question by the way, Alyssa the Empire. Next question is from, sorry if I butcher this, A.L. Debro Cohen, who asked, do you think the season could end with Oliver defeating Roz the same way Oliver was killed by Roz?
I hope not.
Me too.
That
That would be a little too cliche, and I don't think Roz is gonna die.
No, I definitely don't think he's
So-
gonna die, and I definitely don't even think Oliver's at that level where he could compete in that way.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Yeah, because I mean, he's had a little training, but I mean, damn, I mean, it takes a lot more than just to take out race like that, you know. So yeah, I think you're right.
Yep.
He's got to pull like a Batman.
You know, there's a
and have
team
some
up coming
tech.
up, so
Yeah.
you know
There you
Barry's
go.
gonna show up. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how they do that.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those.
I don't know if I
where
want to
he
see
might-
Barry beat up Race either. Like I don't know if I
Yeah,
want to.
right? Yeah.
I think
I
it's
love
gonna
Barry.
be
I love Barry.
one of those moments where he's gonna be so not physically, but just broken down to where his army, his world is just crumbling before him to where he has to just retreat.
Yeah.
And
Right,
go away.
right.
I think
That's
that's
a
what
good
we're
point.
gonna see.
Okay.
That's true. All right, next question comes from EdCell4, who asks, will we see Sarah be dropped into Lazarus Pit since she is in the spin-off show? Also, do you see Tommy coming back to life?
That's
Sorry.
my question.
Two-part question.
Yeah.
I mean, anything's possible. I don't think that they necessarily need to have Sarah revealed in the season finale for her to go on to a spin-off show. They can kind of tie that loose end on that spin-off show if they really needed to. I hope Tommy is revealed to be still alive, obviously. I don't think that's going to happen.
I want to say
but
no,
that would be
just
great.
because I watch. I'm a huge fan of Showtime's show, The Affair, and he's very prominent on that show.
Oh, okay.
He's actually a
Oh.
lead, so I don't think he's going to be on there.
I'm more
'cause
interested
he's-
that you watch The Affair.
It's a great show. The Affair is an awesome show. I love
Yeah,
that
I
show.
heard
It's
it
one of
was
my
good.
favorite shows.
Anyway,
Yeah. Sorry, off topic. That's where, if you wonder where Merlyn is, that's where Merlyn is. That's where Tommy is. He's on The
where
Affair on
Tommy is.
Showtime. Watch The Affair. Yeah.
Go on. No, okay.
Yeah.
If I were to choose, I would choose Tommy. Sorry, I know you selfish reasons you want him to continue on the other show, but I would love to see Tommy be the one that's been taking a dip in the Lazarus Pit. But yeah, I'm with you, Corey. I think they can handle Sarah's resurrection or whatever it's going to be in the spinoff. I think that's much more entertaining than seeing it happen in Arrow.
The thing about Tommy, it's interesting because I thought he was a great character. I loved him in season 1, but I feel like he's been gone for so long that he's almost become an afterthought for me. Like I don't think I really
dare
care.
you.
I know. I'm sorry. He's a great character, but I think he served his purpose in season 1. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
We want
But yeah,
Tommy
that's
back.
I think if he were to never come back to the show, I mean, I don't think I'd be fine with it. I'm sorry.
Talk later. Talk later. No,
Enemies,
I'm totally kidding. All right, let's take like 2 more.
Okay. Emily Bett Fans 1 asks, do you think Thea will become Speedy?
Yes.
It looks that way.
I think so.
It looks that
She
way.
took that jacket and she had a cute little costume the episode before.
That was a nice little line when he said, red was always your color. Anyway.
Yeah.
I like that. Was
Kind of
nice.
sad. Now you have to assume she's gonna tailor it, do something very cute-like,
Sure.
make kind of sexy because it is TV.
Knowing her, have a little cut off in the midriff.
do
There
there,
you go.
That's a
Yeah.
little skin.
There's a lot of lace in that outfit, so you know. All right, let's take one more.
All right, next question is from APM519, who asks, with everything going on, what are your expectations going into next season?
Oh, that's so much happening. I mean, I would imagine, given their track record, it's going to be left open-ended. It's not,
yeah,
again, with the
for
cliffhanger, I think things are just going to be blown to hell, at the end of the season. I think people are going to be, and we see this in so many TV shows where people are just lost and they're finding themselves, and it's going to take until the next season, the season premiere, for them to find themselves and come back together. But yeah, it's going to be crazy.
I mean, they can go anywhere and they can reset you know, the backstory into a whole other area. Like they can even have a lot more about Amanda Waller and her situation and her link to Oliver. And they can also flash way ahead of time where Laurel's suddenly really good as Canary. By the way, it was really obvious that she wasn't fighting in this episode. Just gonna say that, but it's cool. So I don't really know. I mean, I think I'll get a better perception of what I would like to see next episode.
Plus, I mean, do we think the team is going to forgive? Do you guys think they would forgive Oliver so quickly come next episode?
Yes.
Because they really, they can't stand his guts right
I think
now.
they're gonna forgive him.
I
think
don't
so?
know
Like,
about Diggle.
Yeah, and
I'm
Felicity?
unsure about Felicity,
I could
which
see
is the
that-
Trinity.
That's what I think
bleeding
Oliver's going to
into-
go off on his own for a while.
Yeah,
I think
but-
Oliver's going to have to do his own thing for a while.
And that's what I'm saying. I could see that
Find
bleeding
himself.
into next season to where he would have to go away.
I'm
for a
so
little bit.
tired of Oliver going off on his own, though.
He's got to find
He's a
himself.
complicated man. It's not easy
I mean,
getting
it's-
it.
No
that's
one
the
understands
problem.
him.
But
his woman.
It's just this whole season was a little disruptive because he wasn't with the team.
Yeah.
You know, it was a lot of struggle for everybody, but it was a good one. It's a very trying season.
Yeah.
You know, what do you guys think?
I would love to see more progression on Thea. Obviously, that was a sign, her taking the jacket.
Yeah.
I'd love to see a little emphasis on her, and I can't believe I'm saying that because I absolutely hated that
agree, though.
character
I agree,
in
though,
season
yeah.
1.
Yeah.
Here's another thing I can't believe I'm saying. I can't wait to see progression of Laurel
Thank you,
in
me
season
too.
4
Yeah,
as well.
I so agree. It's so weird. He's like, yeah.
Yes, progression you mean. Yeah.
And let's not forget Nisa. Like, what's going to happen to her right now? Like, I mean, is she going to maybe Rachel go away? Maybe she'll take the mantle. I mean, or is she just going to go off on her own and find herself as well? I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
Make
because
out
I mean,
Laurel.
is she going to just go off, or is she going to kind of come back to star? Because I mean,
Maybe
she does
her
have a
and Laurel?
relationship. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe her and Laurel, maybe some more burgers and milkshakes and fries.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's really cool that it's the female
Yeah.
characters that are, you know, really driving me to want to see what's going to happen
I
in
agree.
season 4. You know, it's not so much Oliver Queen who is drawing me into season 4. And I would say the last thing I would want to see is we haven't seen enough of Detective Lance.
I thought about that too. Yeah.
And
He's kind of disappeared.
So
He's busy being mad.
maybe in,
he's-
if not in the finale in the next season.
Better be in the finale.
I want to see more crossovers. I actually liked when Lance was over with Joe on The
Yeah.
Flash.
That was
It was
nice.
Joe, Cisco, and Lance doing the little detective thing. That was a cool episode. I actually
Yeah.
like seeing him over there.
Well, do you have
Yeah.
any predictions for what next season might?
I think we're going to see more crossovers. I think the show is going to be better balanced than it was this season because people are going to be gone.
Uh-huh.
You know, Roy's going to be gone. Ray's going to be gone. I think the show's going to have more room to breathe. There's
Yeah.
just so many characters. So I think it's going to be a tighter season. The season was good. I think the season's going to be next season's going to be even better.
Yep.
Any predictions on who the villain for next season would be?
Oh,
Is it
that's
still
Yeah,
Rob?
once you go to Ray, you can't
yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
unless
Is it
they go
still
like
him?
I know, it's
unless they go
intense.
cosmic.
it's like they gotta
Which
dip
I'll
into
do.
the Batman pool a little
I
bit
know.
more.
I
See if they
think
can
Joker,
like
go
Two
Batman
Face.
villains and stuff. I guess we'll see.
I know.
Yeah.
Malcolm
I'm excited,
Merlyn
though.
again. I don't know. I mean, that's very possible.
Hopefully, we'll see a little bit more Slade.
Yeah,
Hopefully coming
see,
back.
I
You know,
do.
he only appeared in like one episode, I think, so far this season. That's about it. So he's a great character.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for us right here at the Stream.tv for the Arrow After Show. So all week long leading up to that season finale, please go ahead and tweet us at #ArrowAfterShow with your questions, your comments, your sad face, your happy face, all that juicy stuff, because we're sad that it's coming to an end. But in the meantime, you guys can also follow us at various locations. Michael, where can they follow you?
Hey guys, you can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Michael Alexis. You can follow David and myself right here on the Stream.tv at 3 Minute Warning, as well as on YouTube at Think Hero Pro.
And Campea.
You guys can follow me at Ann Campea and everything, and you can follow Kaori and I at Team Amazing. We have an Instagram account, we have a YouTube channel where we do a show called Speak Nerdy to Me, so join us.
Yes, please. And David.
You can find me at GriffinDE on Twitter. And Kaori, I believe you have a shout out.
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, I did it a bit early. I'll do it again. Again, guys. Again, special shout out to Arrow Fans UK as well as GeeklyRocks.com. Thank you for being our friends and Arrow fans as well. Go check them out, all our viewers out there. And I am Kaori Takee, and you can follow me at KAORIOUS right down there, Instagram, Twitter, and all that other random social media stuff. And you can follow all of us at thestream.tv. So go ahead and subscribe, rate, comment, and we will talk to you next week for the final Arrow After Show of the season. Bye. Hey guys, for more of the Arrow After Show and other great after shows, click on subscribe for thestream.tv.
Mother's Day is May 10th, and let me guess, you forgot. Well, don't worry about it. I got you covered. This year for Mother's Day, get your mom laid. I know what you're thinking. What's Dad gonna say? Well, let's face it, Dad's 68 years old, and even with medical advancements, it's tough to trust a man that age to get the job done. Instead, let Kaimu Flowers delight your mother with one of these beautiful lays. Or, if that's a little much for you, why not treat her to an orchid spray? This Mother's Day, let Kaimu Flowers help your mom spend Mother's Day a tropical way. If you need help ordering, call this number right here or go to the website.
Just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
Just in case you missed it live.
Oh, just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live, I'm doing something right now.
So we're all super excited.
So this is dancing.
So what would that be, like a 7?
I cannot. I literally cannot. You guys have got to get it together.
Don't hate the player, don't hate the game. Hate the contract you didn't get.
He's a coward. He's a giant chicken shit.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's going to be like hurricane. Whoa.
Watch out for those girls. They are gagging them.
Hold the phone.
Hold on.
Bro.
Bennett, the more brutal you are, the more power you have.
Right.
That was sexy, it was hot, it was heated, I was into it.
You are gonna be the most high-paid hooker in the world.
Go ahead and invite your friends and everybody. Tell your mama, tell them don't go ahead and turn the stove off and get up on the computer so we can get on the stream.tv.
Thank you again for joining us, and until next week, bye-bye.